Yeasted bread can be so simple to make. Today I'll bake a no-knead loaf similar to my simplest yeasted bread. This time though, I'll go a step further and enhance its flavour at the expense of complexity and prep time. Is it going to be worth it? The full recipe with ingredient amounts can be found on the blog. How do you bake yeasted bread? Let me know in the comments. The first step is to make a pre-ferment called Poolish. It's a mix of strong white wheat flour and water in a 1:1 ratio, as well as a small amount of yeast. The preparation is really simple. To a container, I add water and yeast. I disperse it a little and then add the flour. I mix everything until it's combined well. The Poolish is a high hydration pre-ferment, so I can easily mix it with a teaspoon. I cover the container and let it sit on the counter overnight. The next morning I mix the bread dough. The pre-ferment is now bubbly, ready to take more flour. The remaining ingredients are more flour, water and salt. I use a mix of strong white wheat flour and some wholemeal rye flour. I start by mixing the flour and salt. Into a large bowl, I pour the water and then add the pre-ferment. I give it a quick mix. Dry ingredients go in. I mix everything together until there's no more dry flour. I can now cover the bowl and let it rest for an hour. As soon as water is added to wheat flour, the proteins, glutenin and gliadin, begin to bond, creating a mesh-like structure that we call gluten. This is what holds air bubbles inside the dough. After 1 hour, I proceed to fold the dough. I do it 3 times in 30-minute intervals. Here's the first fold. Wetting my hands prevents the dough from sticking. The second fold. The third and final fold. I take a piece of dough and perform the window pane test on it to check if gluten has developed properly. When stretched, it should become paper thin, almost translucent before breaking. This is acceptable. Now the dough will prove covered until it at least doubles in volume. Leaving it for longer is not an issue, since yeast, unlike sourdough, does not produce lactic acid that deteriorates the gluten mash. The dough has risen nicely. I flip it onto the counter and knock it back, or remove gas from it. I proceed to pre-shape the dough. I flatten it, fold it inwards, flip and shape it into a tight ball. I leave it covered for 15 minutes. During this time, the tightened gluten mesh will relax. In order to final shape the dough, I sprinkle rice flour over it. I flip the dough so the smooth side is on the bottom. I stretch it. Fold the sides inward to form a wedge. And roll it tightly. Into the tin it goes, seam down. I put the tin inside a container so that it doesn't dry out while it proves. It'll remain on the counter until it has doubled in volume. I sprinkle some extra rice flour over the loaf. To score it, I use a scalpel, though a razor blade is usually the tool to do it. And into the preheated oven it goes. This is what it looks like when the baking is over. Quite a nice looking loaf. I'll let it cool down on the wire rack. Alright, time to cut into it. The crust on the top is crunchy. The crumb, on the other hand, is soft. The alveoli are on the small side, with just a few medium-sized ones. the wonderful aroma of fresh yeasted bread. The pre-ferment makes it a bit more complex, very pleasant. And the taste is great too. When baking yeasted breads, using a Poolish is the method I just can't go wrong with.